helps us to pay the bills of credit cards, and also it has the different products. So most of you, I think you have been gone through the CRED application, and for the similar application we have created this sample database, and using this sample database we are going to perform the data analysis on this database. So in this video we are going to discuss only the project, how we have been performed this project. So talking about this database, we have created 4 different tables like users table, credit card tables, and payment tables and transactions table. So this is the first table, and these are the different values in this table like user ID, first name, last name, email address, password, phone number and address. Then we have the second table users, in same table we have been inserted these values. Then we have the second table credit cards. We have created table and we have inserted these values into credit cards. Then we have created table transactions, and in transactions tables we have inserted these values. And talking about the transactions table, I have inserted the current timestamp. So you can change these values if you are going through the same data set, and if you are copying the same data set, then at this time remember to change these values. Because of current timestamp, it will show some restrictions while you are performing the work on some queries or some problem statements. So that's why it is important to change these values, but for now I have been put it as the default. Like if you are running this query at this time or at this moment, then definitely it will showcase the exactly current time, and current time in minutes and date and all these things. Then we have not inserted these values as we have settled in default. For the timestamp we have not inserted values in this values field, just because of these are the default values. These are the values going to be inserted by default. Then we have created table payments, and in payment tables these are the different columns like payment ID, card ID, amount and payment date. And for we have inserted the foreign key, and we have been took reference from the above table credit cards, and key is the card ID. Then we have inserted all these value and we have created this database successfully. And remember guys, most of this database we have been created using by taking the help of ChatGPT. Individually if you are going to do, or you are going to create the similar database, it will take hours of time, like 1 hour, 4 hours or 2 hours. It depends on the database you are going to create, dummy database you are going to create. But using ChatGPT I have been created this database only in 5 minutes. So in similar way you can perform the different data projects using the ChatGPT, and you can leverage the projects or data analysis work using ChatGPT. And in similar way you have to think in smartly, and you have to come up with these kind of solutions. Now we have created these 4 different tables, and here are the 4 different tables I have retrieved these queries. So talking about the credit cards, this is the credit card table, this is the payment table, this is the transaction table, this is the users table. And already I have been created the ER diagram to understand these tables and to visualize the values in better way. And talking about the visualizing these values, this is the payment table, this is the credit cards, this is the transaction table, and this is the users table. We have the clear understanding of the primary key from these tables. Like if you are able to see this bulb symbol in this table, then this is the primary key, here is the primary key, this is the card is the primary key, user ID is the primary key. Now these are the tables interconnected with each other. Using these lines we are capable to see these tables, how these tables are connected with each other. Like we have to find the payments, and as well as we have to retrieve the values from the credit cards. So joins will help us, and using joins we can connect with all these tables and we can come up with the values. Now talking about the foreign keys, these are the, if you do select on this line, then you are able to see 2 different foreign keys from 2 different tables like card ID and card ID. These are the 2 foreign values, these are the 2 foreign keys for these 2 different tables, and using these foreign keys we can connect both of these tables. Then talking about this table, we have the card ID, once again these are the foreign keys, and talking about this table we have the user ID as the foreign key. Now both of these tables are directly connected with this table, and this table is also connected with this table. So all tables are connected with the credit cards table. And if we have to find out the values for transactions and for the users, then definitely we have to use these foreign keys to connect with this user table. So at very first we have to connect transactions and credit cards table using this card ID. Then we have to connect credit cards and users table using user ID, and which will help us to fetch the values from both of these tables. So that's all about this schema and EAR diagram. Now we will directly go to the data analysis, and talking about data analysis, almost 45 problem statements we have been done with. And these 45 problem statements I have distributed in 3 different parts, like easy problem statements, moderate problem statements, and hard problem statements or advanced problem statements. Now talking about these problem statements, we will discuss only few problem statements, like around 9 or 10 problem statements we are going to discuss, but there are the 45 problem statements. You have to do check with all these statements, and you have to do the data analysis on all these problems. And in this video we are going to discuss only these problem statements, how we are going to perform this query. And if we have to perform the real-time data analysis on the same project, it will take huge time, like 2 hours or 3 hours of time it will take to discuss with 45 problem statements. So this is the first problem statement we will discuss, and after discussion you can go through the database. You can download all these files from the GitHub. I will insert the GitHub link in the video description, which will help you to download this database and all these files to do the data analysis or to perform the data analysis on this project and add into your portfolio. Now first query is we have to retrieve the first name, last name, and email address of all users from the users table. So this is the very easy query, and here we have all these values. Second problem statement, it is talking about display the account numbers and current balance of all credit card accounts. So here is we have the credit cards table, and from this table we have to showcase this balance value, credit limit, balance table, and we have to showcase the card number also. And here is we have selected, we have to do select, we have to run query as like we have to type select, we have to select column card number and balance, and from which table, from credit cards table. So this is the very easy, these are the very easy queries in easy problem statements. Now last problem statement I will discuss from the easy problem statement. So this is the last problem statement from the easy problem statements. I will run query at very first, so as to it will help us to understand in easy way. So it is talking about the display. We have to display the expiry dates of all credit cards. So we have did the select, we have to do select, and we have to do check with the expiry date. We have to get the card ID column, and we have the credit cards. From credit cards table we have to get these values, and we have to order them order them by expiry dates in ascending manner, so as we have to understand the expiry date of the cards, which card is going to expire on which date. And talking about the card IDs, card number 7 is going to expire, is already expired in April month in 2023. Then card 5 is going to expire on the November month. Then in December 10 number card is going to expire. And similarly this database is very useful or insightful when we have to do check with the similar values. Then we have the moderate problem statements, and talking about moderate problem statement, first problem statement is asking to calculate the displayed total balance of all credit cards accounts combined. So we have to combine all credit cards, and we have to calculate the balance amount in all credit cards. So second query is the right for that. So here is we have calculated balance as well as the credit limit for all cards. So 4,35,000 is the combined credit limit for all cards, and 79,500 balance is already used from all these cards. So these are the insightful details from the second statement. Then we have the second statement, and this is talking about we have to retrieve the details of the last 5 transactions by amount in ascending order, including sender and receiver, so and as well as amount and type. So talking about this, we have to retrieve the values from the transaction ID column, card ID, amount, transaction type, and from transaction table. And we have just ordered them using amount, and we have to show in ascending order. So for ascending we are adding ASC, but by default the statements by default queries are ordered in ascending manner. That's why I have not added the ascending ASC for ascending. I have added directly limit 5, and I am running this query. And here is we have the amount like 100, 200, 300, 400 and 500 in ascending order, and this is showcasing the transaction type as well, like withdrawal, payment, purchase, and in similar way. Then we will do check with the last problem statement from the moderate problems, and here is we have the 15th problem statement, number 15, and this is the problem statement talking about we have to calculate the average number of transaction per card and display it. So we have to find out the average number of transaction per card, and in similar way we have used aggregate function and average aggregate function we have used, and here is we have aligned as average transaction per card, and we have did the group by using card id, and from transaction table we have to showcase this value. So 5.50 is average transactions per card, and previous to this problem statement is also important, and we have used the case statements in this problem statement. Like this is talking about the distribution of payment amounts using number of payments between certain ranges. So we have to showcase the distribution of payments, and we will define the sum ranges using the case statement. Like we have to do select, and we have to insert the case, so as to we have to do check with the case statement. Then we will start with fen, and we will insert the case statement. Remember guys, if we are talking about the case statements, we have the two different types of case statement, like only case statements and case expression. So this is the case statement. So only case statement we are using the condition, so this is the condition we have been added, so that's why this is the case statement only. And if we are talking about the case expression, directly we can add the value like fen 200, then 0 to 99, 199. So in similar way we can add the case expression, and this is the problem statement representing only the case statement. So these are the cases we have been created, and in different cases this is the range, or this is the price distribution range. It will showcase like 0 to 99, 100 to 399, 400 to 600. And if it was not if transaction is not coming under these ranges, then definitely it will end this case with transactions. It will showcase it will retrieve the values like 700 and above transactions are, and we have to end this query as payment range. Then after this we have did the count of all the values in this table as payment count from payments, and we have did the grouping using the payment range. Now I will run this query, and we will get more clarification of this problem statement. Yeah, so here we have the three cards. There are the three cards. Here we have did the transaction more than 700 rupees. There are the three cards where we have did the transaction in between 100 and 399 rupees. There are the three cards where we have did the transaction in between 0 to 199 rupees, and there is one card where we have did the transaction in between 400 to 600 rupees. So somehow this query is difficult to understand at this moment, but definitely if you are solving the queries in similar way, keep solving the queries in similar way, definitely these are the very easy queries to solve the problem statements, to solve the hard and critical problem statements. Then we have the advanced problem statements, and we have to calculate the average delay between the due date and the actual payment date for the bill payments. Like if you have the really good idea, if we are delaying the payment of any credit card, then they are charging the huge interest rate on these cards. And in similar way, here is the CRED is talking about we have to do check with the card which is not doing the payment on time since long time, and for the same we have to do check with the select average date difference we have to find out from the payment date. So we will take payment date in use to find out the average date difference between the current date and the payment date the person has to made on the date, which will helps us to find out the difference between the dates from which date the specific user or specific user ID has not done the payment of this card. And I will showcase. Then we have to retrieve all these values from the payment tables, and we have to find the payment date greater than the current date, like payment date already left, and this is the average delay. Like talking about there are so many cards, we have the idea, and in average, talking about the average delay, so we have the records like around 8 days of delays in average cards. Most of the users are doing around 8 days of the delay, and from this also we have the different insightful information, and so as to do the perform the data analysis and to find out the insights or the trends, what are the trends exactly going on in the specific organization. Like on monthly basis this average delay will getting changed, like in a specific month it was showcasing the 8 days of delay, in specific month it was showcasing the 10, 20, 30 days of delay. And if delay is going to be increased in if average delay is going to be increased, there definitely this will be the riskier situation, and we have to take care of such kind of situation on top priority in similar situation. Like then sales executive from the credit card companies or the operation people from the operation or the recovery team will call this specific user and they will ask them to pay your money on the time, and in similar way these are the things we are going to operate on the back end. Then we will directly go to the last statement, and we will wrap up this discussion. So here we have the problem statement 13 and 14, but I have not did anything with this statement. Just because of read this problem statement properly, you will understand something from this statement. Like it was talking about display a bar chart of the monthly transaction counts over the past year. So it is talking about we have to do the comparison month on month basis for the last few years, like 21, 22, 23, and it is talking about the charts, but we are working in the MySQL. So in MySQL it is not possible to do the visualizations. So using same problem statement you can perform you can come up with the data visualization using the Python. So in Python you can perform this query. If you are really interested in this database, you can do check with the Python and you can perform the analysis on this. Then we have the advanced payment patterns, and talking about the advanced payment talking about the payment patterns query, we have to analyze the pattern of payment amounts in increasing and in decreasing order over the time. So indirectly this is the time series analysis we can perform, and once again we have to perform this problem statement in Python. So once again, if you are really interested in both of these problem statements, you can come up with the data analysis using Python. Then we have the last statement, only this statement we will discuss and we will wrap up this discussion. So we have to find the user with the highest average transaction amount and display their name and average amount. So at very first we have to display their name. So I will consider u.firstname from users table, u.lastname, and we have to find out the average transaction amount, highest average transaction amount from and in transactions we have the amount, different amounts. So this is the average transaction amount we will consider as average transaction amount. So we have the values from users table u, we have to join this table. Now we have to join, so both aggregate function and joins we are using in this problem statement. So this is problem statement. In similar way we have already performed so many problem statements which are really critical but really easy if you understand them in a correct way. Then we have did the join, inner join on the transactions table T, and we have aligned this table as a T on we are joining these values on foreign keys like u.user id and t.transaction id, and we have did the group by using the first name and last name, and we have to find out the average transaction amount in descending order. And here is we have the average transaction amount, highest average transaction amount, and the person who is doing, okay, so Amit Singh is the person who had did the transaction of 1500, and this is the average highest transaction from the given table. So that's all we have did almost all the problem statements. Which problem statements we have to discuss? I have inserted all this database on I have hosted all this database on the GitHub also, and on GitHub you can do check. I will insert the GitHub link in video description, so as you can do check with these values. So here are the 5 different files like CRED data analysis, CRED database, CRED EER diagram, CRED problem statements in Word file in document format. Then we have the read file, readmd file, and in this readmd file I have just added the small description about the CRED, and this is the image I have added for the beautification of this GitHub profile, beautification of this GitHub work. And we have the data analysis, these are the problem statements, and we have the code we have did and this is our work we have been done with this. Around 331 rows we have been consumed to work with the 45 problem statements. Then we have the CRED database. So in similar way, you can directly click, or you can copy, you can do copy paste, or you can download whole this database in your system, and you can do the data analysis on the same project, and you can perform. And most of the guys don't have the idea how to download the work from the GitHub link. So this is the GitHub link. I will provide all of you in the description of video. And after coming to this link, here you have the option of code. You have to do select on the code, and here is you have the option download as a zip. If you click on this option download zip,